I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Acting stupid, what's happening? Bitch, what's happening?
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. A few weeks or more than a few weeks ago, I did part 1 of my NACA journey, and I just wanted to finish up so that you guys can, hear the end result of my timeline from me actually closing. So like, subscribe, you can add questions below, and I can answer them as soon as I can. So I left off at the contract with the first home falling through because the home came appraised for $12,000 less. And at that time, it's not like the sellers did not want to move forward, but they also was interested in filing a dispute against the appraisal because they felt like their home was actually worth the $164, and NACA, the appraisal through the NACA, it came back for $153. Ultimately, I decided to just walk away from the deal because I was told that it can take weeks, for an appraisal, a dispute to even occur. And then even at that point, after the appraisal dispute is completed and the bank reviewed it, the bank can still deny and not even change, the value of what they actually had valued it for. So I decided to walk away. So that contract had fell through February 4th. I went back out to look at homes. I believe it was like February 24th, on the second set of homes. And I saw a lot of different homes that I was like interested in. So I put an offer for I want to say about 4 homes out of 7. And let me back up. I think I put in 5 offers for 7 of the homes that I did see. They were amazing, and it was hard to choose. But the one house that actually really stuck out to me, all the houses was beautiful, but this particular house that I actually purchased stuck out to me because it is brick, and I'm fascinated with brick homes. I grew up and living in a brick home. So that's what caught my eye, and I felt like the appearance of a brick home, it looks pretty. So about 6 offers I put in. A few of them came back and accepted the offer. A few didn't accept the offer because they didn't agree with a seller's concession. So we'll get into the seller's concession piece. So the 24th, I went into contract with this current home. I want to say so we went into contract on the 24th. We put in a seller's concession of $7,500. The sellers agreed to the seller's concession. The home was listed for $159. We offered $160. So they determined the seller's concession based off the property, the listing price, and then I think they go 4% of that, and they developed the amount of the seller's concession. The seller's concession can be used for it can't be used towards closing, but it can be used towards buying your rate down, or it can be used towards going into escrow to make any repairs that may come out of the home inspection. So yes, the 24th of February, I went into contract. Between February 26th and March 9th, I went into credit access. The only reason why I said between those dates, because when you go into credit access, and when your mortgage counselor, puts in, sorry, let me back up. So when I went, I had to go to the NACA office and go into to do the credit access. I went on February 26th. I went to my local Newark office and we did the credit access. So at credit access, I had to bring a lot of the documents. I had to bring in my contract, and your contract doesn't you don't go into credit access until your contract has been reviewed by your attorney, and your attorney clears it and say that everything looks fine. So Went into credit access. On the 26th, I went to the local office. We did a bunch of different things. She had to upload my contract, which I had to do a wet signing. Although we did an electronic signing, when I went to the NACA office, I had to sign it over. So uploading letters of explanation of the same things that I did during my initial at credit access for the last home. I had to do those things over again and just update letters. Some things that was outstanding that I did not have, I had to just send it to her before she could actually submit the my file to credit access. So I did all those things in the office. That took I want to say that took about 3 hours for her to do. After that, I want to say she submitted, it is weird because whenever they do anything on your file, you get alerts to your phone. So I've got several alerts of my of credit access requests. So that's the only reason why I said between the 26th and March 9th is when she requested the credit access for submission, and it wasn't really clear as to actually when it was requested. All I know, March 10th, it was approved. I was approved for credit access. After you are approved for credit access, you didn't have to go back into your local office and do the bank application. I want to back up really quickly because I forgot to mention one thing. So I had to put in my earnest deposit of $1,000, and I submitted that to the realtor on the 26th of February. I just wanted to point that out. And then I did the home inspection was actually completed on February 26th. So at that point, we were just waiting in conjunction with the credit access request and submission. We was waiting for the home inspection report. I just wanted to mention that. So again, March 10th, we was credit access approved. March 11th, I went back out to the NACA office to do my bank application. And during the bank application, you not bringing anything. You signing a lot of different documents. You signing lien holders forms. You signing credit bureau stuff, federal stuff. You signing I believe it was like your bank application itself, and then it lists like your interest rate, what it's gonna be, and whatever. So there was some errors on there because on my bank application, it said that I initially did agree to using the seller's concession to buy my rate down. Initially, my rate was supposed to have been buy down to like 1.8. But then when I got the bank application, it said a 1.3, and it said that I was contributing $3,200, which I'd never, ever said. So then they had to fix that. Here's when things get a little bit stressful. So as I stated, I was in contract with another home before, and that fell through. So on March 11th, we did another bank application. However, when she entered my loan number into the system, all of the conditions that I initially had from the first home was regenerated back into my web file. Right away, I mentioned it to her. Like, I've seen these conditions when I had my last contract. Why do I have the same condition? She's like, she doesn't know. So I told the front desk, and the front desk said, did you tell your counselor? Yes. So I won't worry about it. Okay, so March 11th, don't respond to any of those conditions because those conditions was from my last contract. March 19th, I see that those same conditions were still there. Reach out to the NACA office, and I reach out to member services, and they said that, just give it some time. It usually updates twice a day. So maybe by the end of the day, you'll see those conditions removed. Okay, so I don't stress about it. Okay, so now we get to the ending of March, and there's no word about what's going on with the conditions. I still haven't gotten any conditions. So I then reaches out to the mortgage processing department. That this, I want to say that's the ending of March. So what I've been told was that the loan number that I was giving was a loan number from the previous house, which is why those conditions on my web file were regenerated. I said, okay. And he said, however, he do see that they are putting in notes for the same loan number, but it's not for this property that I currently residing. So then you see my frustration. So then I reaches out to my mortgage counselor. She ends up calling me and she's like, well, we have a problem. And I said, what's that? She said, well, your appraisal came back at $153, which is $12,000 less than what you offered. And she said that, and also I had a UTMA account, which is a custodian account for my daughter. And I've always used it as a savings account. I always use it as a checking account, never a savings account. I did not know that I was not able to make withdrawals from that account or transfer money from that account back into my main account. And that's what I was doing. And she was saying that Bank of America basically wasn't accepting those funds. Right away, I was really, really upset and really annoyed. I said, okay, well, this is not going to happen. I can't move forward with this house. And she said, well, maybe you can write a letter. I said, I've done that the first time and was told that a letter won't satisfy them. But then I thought to myself, like, wait. So I said to my mortgage counselor, I said, wait, did the house say that it was appraised for $153? And she said, yes. And I said, in that, it said that I offered $165. She said, yes. I said, that's wrong. I said, for one, we never got the appraisal back. Two, I didn't offer $165 with this house. I offered $160. The house was listed at $159. So then she looked and she said, you're right, you didn't get the appraisal back. I said, I didn't. So then I said to her, secondly, I closed that account down since the ending of January. I was told that if I keep it closed and have all my funds into my main account after 90 days, I should be fine. And I said, in those conditions, I said, do it also say tax certification? She said, yes. I said, that was for the last contract. So she said, okay, she's going to reach out to the higher ups to let them know. And I did also tell her that I called the mortgage processing department and they told me that the loan number that I have is associated with a previous property. So what I did was I looked through all of my paperwork that I received from the first loan to see if I had the same conditions, but I still had those old conditions. I did, luckily, because I trashed everything else from that loan, but I only had that one document, which was God. So what I did was I scanned that document to her, to my attorney, to my agent, and to NACA to let them know that these conditions that I have on my web file are the same conditions from the previous home. So after that, I decided, I uploaded everything and I sent it to them. Sorry about that distraction. So they took care of it, right? They took care of it. She realized that the loan number was wrong. They gave me a new loan. I got a new loan number. April 6th, my appraisal was ordered. And at the same time, the ending of March, my appraisal was ordered. And April 6th is when they actually was going out to do the appraisal at 12. April 4th or so, I got my file updated and I got the conditions for this home. However, the same condition from the last property, one of them was still up there, and that was for the account that I was talking about with my daughter. April 6th, I addressed all of those conditions beside that one, and then that's when I got my loan commitment letter, and we sent that to the agent, the seller's agent. April 13th, I got my initial closing disclosure. I was getting close. April 14th, I got back my appraisal report. And another hiccup, because I definitely was like, this is it for me. So April 14th, the appraisal report came back, and it came back $30,000 less than what I offered. $30,000 less. Sorry, I missed something. So let me back up a little bit. We also had got the home inspection report, and then it was the repairs was like $32,000. The sellers did address a lot of things. And one thing that they agreed is to help me replace the roof. So I was good with that. So this happened way before the bank application. I just wanted to point that out. And I did request a rehab loan, and I was approved for my rehab loan as well. So I got a rehab loan of $20,000. They approved it, and it went into my loan. So anytime there's any changes with your loan, they have to do a COC, which is the circumstances of change. And because I did the rehab loan, they definitely had to add that onto my loan. And so at that time, my house, we said it was 160 with the 20,000, it was pushing it up to the 180. Okay, fine. So then we get the appraisal, and appraisal comes back at 30,000 less than what we offered. Again, at that point, I felt like this was it. The sellers is not going to lose $30,000. They're going to walk away. Fortunately, we went back out to see more houses, because it was like, okay, they might walk away. So let's just go look at more houses. I saw a lot of beautiful, beautiful houses. I put in offers. However, I was told that I could not accept any of them if they do accept my offer until we get out of this contract. So we came back home from looking at the different houses. That night, I received an email of the sellers agreeing to reducing the price by the $30,000. So good, we back in contract. I withdrew all my offers from the other house. I want to say the 21st, they did the addendum to reflect the reduced price. The seller's agent was really antsy. He wanted us to close by April 23rd. And expressed that they wasn't going to sign it if we did not guarantee that it was going to close on the 23rd. I made it very clear to my agent, to my attorney, that this wasn't going to happen by the 23rd. It wasn't. And then I said, we can just walk away from the contract. So my agent, my attorney, sent the email for us to just cancel the contract and to, send me back my earnest deposit. And then they didn't want to move forward with canceling the contract. They wanted to keep the contract. So we back on ball to continue the contract. April 28th is when they had to submit a new COC, which is a change of circumstances. That's basically a whole new bank application. Because for one, the price reduced to the 130. And then I ran into an issue with my rehab loan, because initially, if the house was appraised for the 160, I was allowed to take up to 100% of the rehab loan amount. I could exceed it to 110%. But because the house was at 130, I was now had to put in the difference, which is $7,200. So being that my house was appraised for 130, I decided that instead of me using the $7,500 of the seller's concession towards the buy down rate, I just changed it and used the $7,500 towards my repairs, and I said, okay, I can just use the 3.0 interest rate. That's fine. Over 130 property, my mortgage is still going to be low. But whenever you do a rehab loan, they automatically decrease your interest rate to like 0.375. So my interest rate ended up being 2.5. So between April 28th and April 30th, that same condition still was on my file, and NACA was saying that they could not submit my file to for review or clear to close because I had that pending condition. So I was going back and forth with NACA, and ultimately I decided to just address it. I addressed it. I submitted the document. I submitted the document to my web file. And then the regional director was saying that I did not have enough funds, which I did. And I was going back and forth with him for a little bit because I was told that I did not have the funds, and I did. I spoke to my counselor. Again, this is all between April 28th and 30th. And they told me that she told me that I do have the correct funds. And she sent the email to everyone. So now May 4th, I had a clear to close pending final, because there was some things that they needed to do first. They needed an update. May 6th, I got another initial closing disclosure, because the one that I got April 13th was no longer valid since the price of the house changed. So I got an updated initial closing disclosure on the 6th of May. And then May 4th, I got the clear to close pending final. That night, I got a clear to close final. May 6th, I got the initial closing disclosure. That night of May 6th, I got the final closing disclosure. And then May 7th, I closed. I had to actually go to my title company in Staten Island. And with these, with these trying times, we had to close in the car and, mask up and everything. But I closed on the 7th of May. May 8th, I got my Pensake rental truck, and we moved into our home. I would definitely say that it was a journey. It definitely was worth it, though. I would definitely say that it was worth it. And I won't discourage anyone from going through with the process. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's process is different. I believe if it came back appraised well with the first home, I would have been closed with that home. I want to say like February, but because that appraisal came back low, I had to, move on to another home. But I wouldn't discourage anyone from doing it. I mean, if you is looking for a house right away and you want to move to something right away, maybe the NACA Journey process is not for you. But if you are in a situation where you have things that you need to take care of financially, then yes, NACA is for you, because you want to make sure that you are financially prepared, that you have good money management skills, and that you are patient. You have to possess all of those characters in order for you to be a successful homeowner. So I want to thank everyone for watching my video. I hope it was informative. I hope you guys got a clear understanding as to what I actually went through during this journey. And you can please subscribe to my channel, and you can leave your comments below, and with any questions I can try to answer them. I'm not an expert, but I know a lot about this process since I've been in it. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.
I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Acting stupid, what's happening? What's happening?